Let's continue. Employers concerned about maintaining a healthy workforce try to promote employee health and wellness in many ways. Health promotion is a supportive approach of facilitating and encouraging health actions and lifestyles among employees. Wellness programs are also designed to maintain or improve employee health before problems arise, encouraging self directed lifestyle changes. Can you think of any wellness programs that you may have experienced at any of the places where you have worked? What do you think of them? I'm sure that at least one come to mind. Organizations can respond to specific and difficult health issues with an Employee Assistance Program, or EAP, which provides counseling and other help to employees having emotional, physical, or other personal problems. In such program, an employer typically contracts with a counseling agency for the service. Some concerns in reference to security in the workplace which need to be part of risk management include workplace violence, which involves violent acts directed at someone at work or on duty. The increase in workplace violence has led many employers to develop policies and practices for trying both to prevent and to respond to it. HR managers may have responsibility for security programs, including safety audits, or may work closely with security managers or consultants. A key facet of providing security is screening job applicants. Human resources management is somewhat limited by legal constraints on what can be done, particularly regarding the use of psychological tests and checking of references. Providing adequately trained security personnel in sufficient numbers is another important part of security management. Several concepts from law and psychology influence what are considered rights in the employment relationship. Employment at will, wrongful or constructive discharge, just cause, due process, and distributive and procedural justice are some examples. Employment at will is a common law doctrine stating that employers have the right to hire, fire, demote, or promote whoever they choose, unless there is a law to the contrary. Conversely, employees can quit whenever they want and go to another job. Employment at will has certain restrictions, including wrongful discharge, which refers to termination of an individual's employment for reasons that are improper or illegal, and constructive discharge, which happens when the employer deliberately makes working conditions intolerable for an employee in an attempt to get that employee to resign or quit. As part of employment at will, fairness, we have just cause, which means reasonable justification for taking an employment related action, and also due process, which is the means used for individuals to explain and defend their actions against charges or discipline. You will certainly learn more about employment at will and specifically how to apply this concept appropriately in pro-employment states such as California when you take the human resources and the law course. Disputes between management and employees over work issues are normal and inevitable, but how the parties resolve their disputes are important. Open door policies, formal grievance procedures, and lawsuits provide several resolution methods. Some of the alternative dispute resolution methods that companies are currently using include arbitration, which is a process that uses a neutral third party to make a binding decision, thereby eliminating the necessity of using the court system. Number two, peer review panels. Some employers allow their employees to appeal disciplinary actions to an internal committee of employees. This is actually a very successful practice that we use at Merit International. Employees can appeal any disciplinary action from verbal warnings all the way to terminations. Some organizations ensure process fairness through ombuds, employees outside the normal chain of command who act as independent problem solvers for both management and employees. As a result of concerns about protecting individual privacy rights in the United States, the Privacy Act of 1974 was passed. It includes provisions affecting human resources record keeping. One of them is the ADA provision, which indicates that employee medical records are to be kept as separate confidential files available under limited conditions specified in the ADA. The Data Protection Act requires employers to keep personal records up to date and to keep only the details that are needed. Also, personal files and records usually should be maintained for 3 years. Human resources policies, procedures, and rules greatly affect employee rights and discipline. Where here is a choice among actions, policies act as general guidelines that help focus those organizational actions. Policies are general in nature, whereas procedures and rules are specified to the situation. Procedures provide customary methods of handling activities. Rules are specific guidelines that regulate and restrict the behavior of individuals. Discipline is a form of training that enforces organizational rules. Common disciplinary issues caused by problem employees include absenteeism, tardiness, productivity deficiencies, alcoholism, and insubordination. Progressive discipline incorporates steps that become increasingly more stringent and are designed to change the employee's inappropriate behavior. The screen shows a typical progressive discipline process, which starts with verbal reprimands and follows certain steps that may lead to discharge if the offense or violation continues. The final stage may be called discharge, firing, dismissal, or termination, among other terms. I personally prefer separation of employment. At face value, terminating workers because they do not keep their promises will seem equitable and defensible in many courts. However, employers need to follow appropriate human resources processes and disciplinary procedures, as well as consistently document reasons for termination or any disciplinary action for that matter. Before we transition into our next and final topic, let's take a break to enjoy a beverage, a snack, or simply to reflect on what we have learned so far today. When you are ready, click on video 3 to continue.